what's the deal? That's your boy Tag from Pro Wrestling Tag. You know what I mean? As of this recording, it's 4:52. You know what I'm saying? I been came out of work. You know, I ate some good fucking food, nigga. Yeah, boy, I ate some pizza. Who the fuck don't like pizza, yo? You know what I mean? If you're from New York, you know what I'm saying? Like, one thing I love about New York is that it don't matter if you are, you know, or if you're a college student, you know, and you got a break, you know what I mean? You got a break from class, or you work and you're on your lunch break, there's always a pizza spot. Always. Especially like the dollar pizza stores. You know what I'm saying? Actually, it's the $1.50 pizza stores. Fuck it. I'd rather pay that than, you know, $3 for a slice. I mean, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't mind. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I just want pizza. You know what I mean? I love pizza. You know what I'm saying? But I actually made 2 pizzas. You know what I mean? I actually brought like Ilio's pizza. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I'm still waiting for these motherfuckers to move me to another place, you know, so that I could, you know, start to cook again, nigga, because I miss cooking. Miss it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like you AEW sickos who can't cook for shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, I know how to cook. I'm not like you losers who, you know, all you do is eat pizza bagels. Pizza bagels is basically the IWC's, it's their flagship food, pizza bagels. You know what I mean? So this is a topic I wanted to do because, you know, I got a lot of shit from people telling me, you know, from people, I got a lot of shit from people on Twitter about my thoughts about Zack Sabre Jr., right? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Zack Sabre Jr. is a very, very, very boring wrestler. He is a very boring wrestler. He is, you know, people like him, you know, Steven Regal as a wrestler, not as a character and stuff, and not as a scout, but as a wrestler. Steven Regal, William Regal, Steven Regal as a wrestler when he was in both WWE and WCW. People like him, Timothy Thatcher, you know, they both like to do the scientific portion of wrestling, right? Which is basically catch wrestling. And, you know, for those that don't know, catch wrestling is basically, you know, it's a style that works exclusively on leg attacks and joint locks, right? And their mission is to bring back the, you know, the importance of just straight grappling and remove all the theatrics, right? Which makes you boring. It makes you a boring wrestler. I mean, you know, I love grappling. I think grappling is great. You know, there are times where I see grappling tournaments, you know, like grappling with like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or just straight grappling. You know, just straight grappling, you know. It's basically similar to, it's kind of like professional real wrestling in a bit. Professional real wrestling is, you know, okay, collegiate wrestling. You know what I mean? Like what the fuck you call that shit? Greco-Roman, whatever the fuck you call that. Greco-Roman wrestling. You know what I mean? Like collegiate wrestling. You know? But what they do is you have no character. You have nothing. I mean, you basically don't have shit. I remember back in the days, like maybe like 4 years ago, where I think Chikara had, they had something where it was remember Raw Underground? So there was a rumor that Raw Underground took something from Chikara where it was basically like, you know, like Raw Underground with no ropes and just straight mat, right? It's just straight, kind of like Bloodsport. A bit, but it's basically that. Where it's just, you know, where it's just straight wrestling and stuff. And it doesn't work. And, you know, it doesn't work on the mainstream. It does not. That kind of wrestling, it doesn't connect. And scientific wrestlers, they just don't connect. You know, because if you're just a person who's just, because a lot of like the old time wrestlers used to do that, like fucking you know, what's his name? I think Gene Hackenschmidt. He did that. I believe. I believe Gene Hackenschmidt was a guy who perfected, you know, scientific wrestling, and it doesn't work in today's day and age. It's an outdated style. Like, you gotta have a character, you gotta have gimmick. You know, people like Timothy Thatcher and stuff who perfect themselves in that kind of wrestling, it just doesn't work. It doesn't. You know who used to also get in that style too? Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak used to get in that style. But the thing with Gulak is he had a character. WWE gave him a character. You know what I mean? They gave him a fucking character, and it actually worked. He needed personality. You know, so when you don't have, you know, when you don't have personality, right, and you're just a straight wrestler, you know, a straight scientific wrestler, it just doesn't work. Scientific wrestling does not fucking work. It does not work in today's landscape. It doesn't. You know what I mean? You gotta have something. You gotta have character. See, there's a difference between a scientific wrestler and a submission wrestler. You know, a submission wrestler is just that. You know, he's just a person who, you know, gets you with holds and submissions. You know what I mean? As opposed to a grappler who, a catch-as-can wrestler who is just working only on, you know, just grappling moves and leg joints and leg attacks and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's not the same. And plus, with submission wrestlers, they can also do stuff all around too. Now, I mean, look at Dean Malenko, right? Dean Malenko, great submission wrestler, right? You know, the Texas Cloverleaf, right? Great fucking move. Chris Jericho, another guy who was a submission wrestler. You know, like he would do, you know, he used to do different stuff. Well, now, he's not like that now, but back then in WCW, like he had, you know, the Lion Tamer, and then when he came to WWE, you know, he changed the name to the Walls of Jericho. You know, of course, Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret Hart was another one who basically was, you know, a submission wrestler. You know? And listen, I'm not saying that it's boring. I'm not saying that. However, what I am saying is when you just do it by itself, you know what I mean? When you have no gimmick behind it, you know, that's a problem. You know, that is a fucking problem. William Regal, like I said, in the ring, he was kind of boring. You know, he definitely was boring. His gimmick did make up for it. You know, but yeah, who else? Who else I remember? Fucking there were others. I'm trying to think. You know, Taz was a submission wrestler. You know, but to say that Zack Sabre Jr., right, wrestling in a scientific wrestling style is one of the best wrestlers in the. Oh yeah, I forgot Bryan Danielson is another one. But to say that, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best wrestlers in the game, you know, and to say that he's not boring, that is more cap than fucking lids. Because Zack Sabre Jr., I don't know what the fuck y'all see. He is beyond overrated. The dude is garbage. He's trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is, you know, he's beyond overrated. He wrestles a style that does not work, man. It doesn't work. Scientific wrestling is garbage. Scientific wrestling, there's no substance in scientific wrestling. Shit. It talks about, you know, bringing back only grappling and removing the theatrics. You know what I mean? So basically, you're stiff as shit. You're a stiff wrestler. You're a fucking stiff wrestler. It does not fucking work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it can work if you have a fucking gimmick. You know what I mean? It can work if you have, you know, something that, you know, it can work if not only you have a gimmick, but it can also work if you have something behind it that complements it. Basically meaning that, okay, I could do, catches, scientific wrestling stuff, but, I gotta apply other moves into it too. That's gonna be impactful. Sting was also a submission wrestler. I'm just naming off names. If I have other stuff that plays into it, Kurt Angle, that's another one. I keep, mentioning. Ken Shamrock is another one. All submission wrestlers. And you can tell the difference with, that's another thing I forgot to mention. When your whole offense is nothing but grappling. That's basically what it is. When your whole offense is nothing but grappling, it's trash. If you have other stuff behind it that can complement it, like, doing fists and, doing all kinds of different moves. If you're a person who also likes to do power slams and shit like that, along with your scientific wrestling, I can stomach that. But you gotta have the gimmick to complement it. If not, you're boring as shit. You are dry like white paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And to say that Zack Sabre Jr. is, one of the best wrestlers in the world, where he wrestles a style that, again, like I said, is beyond stale. It's stale. I gotta call cap. I'm sorry, but I don't know where the fuck y'all see that he's a great wrestler. I don't know where the fuck you see, especially with the wrestlers that is out now. Like, come on, man. Give me a fucking break. I'm about to be out, guys, you know what I mean? So this video is actually going to be going up at about 7:30. You know what I mean? I keep the 7:30. You know what I mean? So I am about to be out. So I'll catch y'all on the breeze. Now. Peace!